Hi, I'm David Wovrash, attorney with the Legal Aid Society of Greater Cincinnati's Low Income Taxpayer Clinic. Now that the filing season has come to a close, while many people are putting their tax refunds to good use, others are wondering what happened to their refund. I'm here to talk with you about some common refund delays and what you can do if your refund goes missing. If you have any questions, go ahead and type your questions in the chat and we'll answer them in the chat along the way. So let's talk about refunds. Once a tax return is filed, it has to be accepted by the IRS. If you're expecting a refund, the IRS will send the refund to you shortly after they accept your return. The two most popular options offered by the IRS to receive a refund are a direct deposit into a bank account and a paper check mailed to you. However, starting this year, the IRS will be phasing out paper checks in favor of direct deposit, and this can impact the timing of your refund. But first, let's start off by talking about the direct deposit. The quickest and most secure way to receive your refund is through a direct deposit. Direct deposit is simply when the IRS puts your refund directly into a bank account. Direct deposit is more secure because it doesn't have to travel through the mail and there's less risk that it will be stolen or lost. To direct deposit your refund into a bank account, the account must have an account number and a routing number. And if you don't have a bank account number, that's okay. Anything that has a routing and account number can work. Many free apps like Venmo and Cash App have an account and routing number and can be used to get your tax refund. But what happens if you want a paper check or if you don't have a bank account? Like I mentioned earlier, the IRS is now phasing out those paper checks. So if you don't include any bank account information on your return, the IRS will actually still accept the return, but without routing an account number on the return, the IRS will hold your refund and send you a letter requesting that you provide them with direct deposit information. You can respond to this letter by providing banking information or by calling the IRS and requesting that the IRS sends you a paper check. The IRS will only send this letter out once. If you don't respond to the letter within 30 days, the IRS will mail a paper check to the address listed on the return. Now, this is not a fast process. It can take up to 6 weeks for the IRS to mail a check if they don't receive a response to the letter. If you request a paper check, the IRS will mail the refund to the address that you listed on your return. One of the most frequently asked questions is when someone will receive their refund. If you file your return and choose direct deposit, you'll usually receive a refund within 21 days from when your return is accepted, though often it's much sooner. If you request a paper check, it can take longer. If you choose to have a paper check mailed out, you will usually receive that refund within 6 to 8 weeks from the date your return is accepted. But what happens if you just simply don't receive a refund? If it's taking longer to get your refund than expected, you should use the IRS tool to check the status of your refund. You can do this by using the IRS's secure portal called Where's My Refund tool and enter your social security number, your filing status, and the exact amount of your refund. We're dropping a link to this site in the chat. It will show you the status of your refund. If your refund has been delayed because of an IRS examination or audit of your return, the IRS will send you a letter to the address that you listed on your return. So if you haven't received your refund from the IRS, first make sure that you keep an eye out for your mail. If your status shows that the refund has been sent or deposited, but you have not received it, you can request a refund trace from the IRS. A refund trace simply asks the IRS to track down what happened to the payment. You can request a refund trace by using the IRS Form 3911, and of course, a link to that form is in the chat. If your refund was direct deposited, the IRS will inform you of the account and routing number of the account that it was deposited into, as well as the date of the deposit. If the refund was sent out via check and cashed, the IRS will provide you with the date that it was cashed as well as an image of the cashed check. If the check was sent out but was never cashed, the IRS will then send a replacement check. Finally, I'd like to talk about some important considerations. With the new push to send refunds out through direct deposit, there are now many new opportunities for that refund to be delayed. So it is important to keep in mind if you don't include an account and routing number on your return, it will delay your refund. Your refund will be delayed if you request a paper check or if the account and routing number on your return are incorrect. It can be very helpful to create an online account with the IRS so that you can manage your information, which includes banking details. A link to the IRS online account, of course, is in the chat. If the IRS needs to communicate with you about your return or your refund, they'll always mail you a letter to the address that you listed on your most recent tax return. And that is why it is important to know the last address that you listed on your return and to keep an eye on your mail if your refund is taking longer than you expect it to. The IRS will update your address and your banking information every time that you file a return. But if you need to change your address with the IRS before you file that next return, you can do so by contacting the IRS directly, or you can send them a signed Form 8822. And a link to this form, of course, is in the chat. Now, a word of caution. Before filing a return, review it thoroughly and make sure that your address and your bank account information are correct. And finally, if you do not have a permanent address or you just don't have access to the mail at your home, you can list a P.O. box as your address on the tax return. Getting your refund is just one of many issues that you could have with the IRS. If you need professional assistance for a tax matter with the IRS, you may be eligible for free legal representation through a low-income taxpayer clinic that serves your area. We're dropping a map of the low-income taxpayer clinics throughout Ohio in the chat so that you can find an LITC that serves your area. Thanks for watching. If you're in the Southwest Ohio area, we're dropping a link to our clinic's information in the chat. But check the chat for more information about the low-income taxpayer clinic in your service area.